All right, today we're going to demonstrate the proper way to do a kettlebell swing. I've seen a lot of people in the gym wanting to use the kettlebells and wanting to do some of the stuff that we're doing with a lot of our clients, but we want to make sure that everybody's doing those in the correct manner and with the correct form so that you don't get hurt and so that you can get the most effectiveness out of the exercise. So Kellen is going to join us here today, and Kellen is going to demonstrate the proper way to do the kettlebell swing, and I'm going to sort of coach him through how we would coach a typical client on how to do that. So Kellen, go ahead and step behind the kettlebell. You're going to be about a foot or so apart. Your feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. He's going to go down with a flat back and grab onto the handles. So you see how his back is nice and flat. He's not curved over with a rounded spine. He's going to go and hike it, and then he's going to drive the hips forward. So what he's doing, he's getting a hip hinge motion. He's pushing the hips back. He's driving the hips through, and this bell is just floating. So he's not lifting it whatsoever with his shoulders. It's just floating. Hips go back, hips come through. And then when he sets it down, he's going to set it down with that same good form with a nice flat back. So that's the correct way to do a kettlebell swing. I'm going to have Kellen show some of the ways that we see where people are doing them incorrectly. And the first one is people go down to grab the kettlebell and they will round their spine, or their back will be hunched over. Okay? So we want to protect the low back, and so we're going to do that by keeping a nice flat back, pushing the hips back. Okay? The second one that we see is people will do more of a knee bend, more of a squatting type motion, sort of like they're riding a horse, versus pushing the hips back. So you want that motion to come just from the hips. The knee stays slightly bent, and you're not getting that up and down squatting motion. Okay? And then another one that we see is lifting it actually with the shoulders. Okay? So instead of letting the bell float, you're actually using your shoulders to lift the weight. Okay, and once again, we want to push the hips back, and we're just going to snap those hips forward and let the bell flow. Okay, and then the last one, Kellen, if you want to go face on, the last one that we notice is where the handle will go below the knees on the swing. So the handle comes too far down, it goes below the knees. You want to keep that kettlebell in nice and tight. Go nice and tight. So just pushing the hips back, the kettlebell stays nice and tight, drives the hips forward, and then he's just floating it. So that is the correct way to do the kettlebell swing.